you've caught my previous videos, you'll know is a huge thing for me. But I have this water tank, which is very big, and it's going to go in this space here, which is really hard to see and to figure out when you're just looking at this. Here's our gas tank. There we go. We still need to pressurize that, and we've got the gas connection there. So I need to work out is where we need all the fittings to go on this tank, because this tank here doesn't have any of the fittings put into it, so we're going to need to do that ourselves. So I'm going to try to lift it up and position it here so I can try to work out what we need to do, which, as I'm doing this by myself, I think it's actually quite hard, and as I don't have Mark here to explain anything that he's already done or what he wanted to do, that's even harder. But let's give it a go anyway. Okay, the water tank, what we're going to do is cut out an inspection hatch, because we need that to be able to put a hand inside and attach all of the other fittings, which I think are all going to go on this right hand side here. So in this wonderful box of tricks, we have all the things that we need. So obviously this is our water filling point. We do, if you remember from a previous video, have a water point in the van, which is here. However, on this one it was at such an angle and it would need to drain so far that we've just left that one there, knowing that we're going to use a different one for the actual fill point. So we have this to go into the van, and then sections obviously for the water pump and all of that type of stuff. Here is our inspection hatch. So that's what I'm going to need to do. And then obviously a hand goes inside to make sure that we can have all of the connections put into place. And this one here is all of the controls so that we can monitor how much is water is in the tank. So these can be cut accordingly. So you have one, 3 different stages, and then here's our control panel. And then all of our wonderful pipes. And this little beauty is all of our elbow joints and straight joints and everything else for the piping inside of the van to connect the water to the Truma boiler and also to the Julka shower, and then of course the sink in the kitchen. So that's why we've got all these beauties. So let's see if I can cut this hole for the inspection hatch and make sure that I do that properly. Okay, so there's a couple of different things about this. One, when you're short and you're not that strong, it's really hard. Right, here is where the water tank can go. So there's the there's obviously the gas tank, so we've got that little gap, and that's where we can put all the things, then have the fill up point.
Right, so should have pressed record a lot sooner on this project. I'm not great at videoing, as Tracy's probably mentioned through most of this project. So let me take you back enough to visually imagine this and take my word for it. So when we got this unit, we'll put this supplier in the link below. It came as a completely sealed unit. There was no outlets, no inlets, no nothing. It was just one sealed container. So along with the purchase of the water tank, we also got the inlets and outlets, drainage valves, inspection hats, and also the water sensor. So we'll go through each one and I'll give you a rundown of what's what. So the way we're going to position this in the tank is, if I stand sideways, this edge here is going to be beside the chassis rail. This is going to be the back of the vehicle where the tow hitch would be. This would be the front of the vehicle, near the axle end, or near the axle in the middle of the vehicle, so finish around. So the way we've done this is we have got our drain valve down here, nice and low. We've got our outlet down here. Now these are 1/2 inch I've gone for, which I believe is around about 12mm pipe. As you can, probably can't quite tell if I spin the camera and show my feet. It's a 1/2 inch there, you can see stamped in the nut indentation there. On top I've gone for an inspection hatch, which takes us down inside the tank. Over here we've got a water sensor, which I've obviously I've not wired that in, that came pre-assembled already, but I had to obviously fit it in the hole. And then this end is where we've got our 1 1/4 inch inlet, so that will come out side and up through the van, and hopefully later on in this video it will show it all sort of connected from underneath. So for myself, when I installed all these pipes, what I realised was once I cut this hole out, which I did first, if I'd fitted the ring and the cap, I wouldn't been able to get my arm inside the tank and reach all the way through to the nut that sits behind this one. So what in fact happens on these inlets is that they've got like a compression nut, a lock nut. So basically it sandwiches between the two, or the wall of the water tank. So it sits nice and flush. You've got the outer bit, then you've got a seal, a rubber seal, you've got the plastic tank, and then you've got a lock nut that sits behind it. So what I found was when this was installed, I couldn't get my arm all the way through to be able to hold the back nut of these fittings. So I left it off, and that's just been the last one I've installed, is this. After I've installed obviously our outlet, our drain, the water level sensor, and our inlet. So just bear that in mind if you're going to fit one. Have a go first to make sure you can reach with your arms inside that tank to be able to get to those places. Also bear in mind when you're putting in these fittings is that I can't quite see on the camera, but you can see just down there, if I one-handed flippity-doo to the tank, oh, lost a screwdriver. You've got indentations, which are obviously to stop the water sloshing around the tank and obviously provide some sort of stability. Sorry, I got a screwdriver. It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, just bear on those factors in mind. What we did with this water tank is that we put it in position first before drilling or cutting any holes whatsoever, and we lined it up inside that. We propped it up against the chassis in that sort of pocket that it's going to be sat in, and we kind of discussed the best routes for the pipes, the inlet, the filling side of things, and where that filler cap would go on the side of the van. We also discussed the best place for the drain and the outlet, and obviously the way it's going to work its way into the pump. So it's worth sitting down, looking at all those bits first before obviously going ahead, if you are having one which has got all the fittings done. Or a lot of places what you can do is have a diagram, and you can actually circle on that diagram where you want these fittings to be placed for you. Much more enjoyable doing it yourself. So yeah, that's brilliant. I'll talk through doing the water sensor. So the water sensor, this is the type we have used. So this is the water sensor we've used. It comes from CBE Electronics and Caravanning and Boating. Or electronics, sorry, for Caravan and Boating. Is the part number to it. One of those, just in case anyone's out there looking for it like I was. Come across a couple of handy, helpful videos. So on this unit, it has 4 prongs which sit there. So you got the locking nut at the top, and then the prongs run down through. So what happens is that as the water level comes up, it makes a connection through that circuit, and obviously then runs to the sensor, which looks like that. So the one on the left there is a water level sensor. Where's the camera? Focusing a bit better. Nope. So the left is for the water tank. The right one there, this side, this is for the waste. So with this cable, we've got connections for water sensor, which is obviously this one here. You then also got this one here, which is for the waste tank. This is the waste tank sensors. So unlike this nice sealed unit up that's in here, these here basically, if I had a waste tank, which I don't at the moment, would screw in one here, and then about an inch lower would be the other one. And again, when the level of the fluid gets to the top of the tank, it makes a circuit between the two, and then that's when your light comes on to give you a warning that the tank is becoming to that fill point. So it's definitely not worth hitting it right at the top. You want to bring it down, so say 3/4, so you know that you've got a slight bit of room for flexibility, to be able to allow yourself that sort of extra bit, and not get to the point where you're completely full and you know you need to, I don't know, wash up or do something you want to give yourself. So definitely put it about a quarter in, about 3/4, so you know you're getting to that point where you need to empty your tank. The other part of the wiring loom is obviously the bit that goes to the back of the display mount, and then you've also got the live and earth there wires. With these water sensors, what I discovered was that because we're going to mount it this way, in the way of the depth, this is the top, and this is the top, this is the bottom underneath, that sensor was too long. So what I've done is I've basically hacksawed off, I think it was about 3 inches on that level, to ensure that I had plenty of room to be able to mount it from the top down. If I was doing it the other way around, where this top here would be the top, that would be the bottom, and it was mounted the other way around, just put it out of the silicone, that's not very good, then the length would have been alright, but for me I needed it this way around. So again, I've just hacksawed those bits off. I'm going to try and show you, if I can, the inside of it. If I put my torch, hold that for a second. Okay, put my torch in the tank, hopefully with a little bit of jiggery pickery. There you go. That's straight onto me. That's not helpful. You can see in the shadow there that you've got the prongs. So you've got 2 really long ones, you've got a third short one, and then a very short one. So you've got your full, your half, and then you're empty. So as the water level was to rise, it would hit those prongs and obviously make a circuit and continue to make circuits as it went through, and that's how you tell. But yeah, this is the inside of the tank, the torch, and hopefully there's my inlet. Well, there we go. So yeah, hopefully as the video goes on, we'll show you the step-by-step guides of us inserting and fitting this water tank into position underneath the vehicle. But my apologies for not taking you through the steps as we actually went through on the tanker fitting these. So what I can show you is this. The cap goes on, the cap screws down. Tracy's going to kill me.
This is a big moment. That's how cold it is. You can see Mark's breath. Okay. Okay, let's check the sensor. We've got some water. Testing the tank. Whoop whoop. Got some water.